Hello, good morning, dear students. During this session, I am going to discuss about the second unit, that is demographic features and infrastructure. And during this session, I am going to discuss about the broad demographic features of Indian population. Then what is demography? First of all, let me discuss what is that demography. Demography is the statistical study of human populations. Demography examines the size, structure, and movement of population over space and time. Demography is useful for governments and private businesses as a means of analyzing and predicting social, cultural, and economic trends related to population. Then under this demography, we have to study the birth rate or death rate, employment rate or poverty rate, literacy, or a health rating, etc. So many things will be discussed related to this demography of a particular region or particular nation. So during this session, I am going to throw a light on the demographic features of Indian population. One of the most important demographic feature of Indian population here is a huge population. In 1951, in India, it was a 236 million population, and which was raised during the year 2011 to 1210 million. So you can look at this chart. We can make the grouping of the rise in population through a chart or through four important phases from 1901 to 1921 and from 21 to 51 and likewise from 51 to 81 and 81 to 2011. Like this, under these four phases, we can have different status of the rise in population. During the period or in the first phase, that is 1901 to 1921, there was a stagnant population. It was only a 23.6 crore population was there in 1901 and which was raised to 25.1 crore during the year 1921. And the same has been raised again to 36.1 crore during the year 1951. That is, after 30 years, we can have improvement of almost 6 crore. So in this phase, we can say that there is a steady growth. And again in the year 1951 to 1981, under this 30 years phase, we can have rapid high growth of population, where we can find that there is a rise of almost 32 crore population. So population was grown in this stage very rapidly. And in the year 1981 to 2011, under this period, that is under this phase, we can have a high growth with the definite signs of slowing down. So the population rise was coming to slowing down, and we can say that the 68.3 crore population in the year 1981 was raised to 121 crores. So this is what shows clearly there is a huge rise in the population in India during these four important phases. So no doubt that the India is curtailing the rise in population rate, but not so much or what actually planned by the government of India. To that extent, it is not possible for us till now also. Then the second important feature here is the second position in the world. India's share in world's land area is only 2.4%. India's share in world land area is 7th rank in total throughout the world. We have 7th status or the 7th rank in the land area, but we are second position in the population, where we are having a share of population in the world. The total world population is 17.64%. We can say that it's almost 7 times more than the land area which we are having. And likewise, another important demographic feature of Indian population here is high growth rate of population. So there is a decadal growth rate of population from 2001 to 2011 is 17.64%. So we can say that yearly it is almost 1.76%. There is a rise in the population rate. So this is mean that there will be much hurdle on the part of economic development of India. And likewise, we have another important feature here, the high birth rate. We can see the data here. In the year 1951, we are having high birth rate of 39.9%, which was reduced in the year 2011 to 22%. So it's because of the improvement in many facilities. There is a drinking water facility, or it's because of the planning, as per the planning commission recommendation, there was some incentives will be given to the people who are reducing the births. And we can have one popular scheme which was introduced by the government of India, that is a small family pension scheme, which is a much playing very much important part in reduction in the high birth rate. And the most interesting demographic feature of Indian population here is the low death rate. You can watch at the data given here. In 1951, there was a death rate of 27.4%, which was tremendously reduced in the year 2011, that is to 7.2% only. Then what is the reason behind it? What will be the exact reason for the reduction in the death rate during the year 2011 or during the recent periods? The reason for low death rate is control of epidemics and decline in the incidence of malaria and tuberculosis, improvement in supply of pure drinking water, sanitation and hygiene, spread of education, and expanded medical facilities, particularly immunization against various preventive diseases, are the main reasons for the reduction in the, that is a rapid reduction in the death rate. One more important demographic feature of Indian population here is low work participation rate. In India, we can have the data related to the work participation rate. That is, in the year 1981, we are having 36.7% of total population as a work participation rate. And in the year 1991, it was raised to 37.7%. And again in the year 2001, it raised to 39.2%. And in the year 2011-12, it was raised to 39.5%. It means very slowly the rate of work participation is growing. And greater part of non-working and dependent population is there in India. In 1951, there was a 61% non-working and the dependent population was there, and which was raised to 62.5% in the year 1991. And in the year 2011, this dependent or the non-working population reduced to 59.5%. And as far as defective occupational distribution of population is concerned, the occupational distribution of a population is not in a good position. In 2000, 56.7% of the population was involved in primary sector. And primary sector here means the agriculture, animal husbandry, or poultry farming, or the sericulture, horticulture, like that. Almost all the extractive and the genetic industries were covered under this. And in the same year, only 17.5% of the population was involved in secondary sector, that is almost all the industry sector. And under service sector, the people participation was only 25.8%. And one more important feature you can trace here, that is the unequal density. The population density in India in the year 2011 was 382 persons per square kilometer of land area, and which was unequal throughout India also. It is highest in Delhi, and it's totally lowest in Rajasthan. So it is based on if the area is a hilly area, or even the total northeastern parts, or you can say that river or the ocean areas. So these areas are covered with a very low density, but the places which are very important places like Delhi, Kolkata, Mumbai, Chennai, Bangalore, these areas were covered with more populated areas or densely populated areas. And another important feature here is low literacy. In 2011, 74.04% of the population were in total the literates. Of these, male population literates were 82%, whereas females were only 65.46%. So this shows that again there is an inequality between the male and female literacy rate. And another feature here, less female population. The sex ratio is also very much making very much a hurdle to the Indian economy. In 2011, male population was 62.3 crores, while female were only 58.65 crores. Male in terms of percentage, you can say that only 51.4% population was male, whereas female population was 49.46%. In terms of sex ratio, we can say that in 1951 it was 946. It reduced to 943 in the year 2011. It means it is reducing. So it's not a good sign for the nation. Another thing here, low life expectancy rate. In America, the people lived for 75 years. But in India, its life expectancy rate is only 65 years. This is the data for the year 2011. Whereas again, the male and female life expectancy rate is differ in India. Male are living for 63.87 years, whereas the females were living for 66.91 years. And even there is a urban migration is also taking place in the much faster way. Majority of people's rural population are living in the rural area, but they are migrated from rural to urban areas. Through this chart, we can make a discussion on that thing here. In the year 1951, the urban population was 17.29%, which raised to 23.34% in the year 1981. Whereas in the year 2001, it again raised to 27.79%. And in the year 2011, it raised again to 31.16%. It means the rural population is moving towards the urbanization, or the rural places are becoming the urbanization, or because of the government policies to remove the hurdles of the rural areas, the villages are becoming the urban to some extent, or near to the cities. The villages are covering under the city area, that is the municipal corporations are becoming much more in the rapid way. So this is also one of the reason for the migration, the rural migration to the urban. Then one more important feature here is the age-wise composition. We can make three important groups: children's for the age between 0 to 14, and adults for the age between 15 to 60 years, and above 60 years are considered here as aged. Only adults are eligible for the working, and these peoples are the only backbone of Indian economy. There is a data says that children's aged between 0 to 14 are covered with 29.9% of the population, whereas adults 61.1%, and above 60 aged peoples are 9%. And poverty amidst plenty. This is one of the important feature of Indian demography. Almost more than 800 million people in India are considered as poor. Poverty rate in India in 2011 was 87.40%, and it's almost that reduction of 3.7% decline from 2009, where it was 91.10% in the year 2009. So dear students, these are the important demographic features of Indian population. Thank you very much for watching this video.